We spend a lot of life searching and scrolling, soliciting for status, longing to belong. We've got some tired thumbs. What if the thing we most need is the thing we most want to hide from? What if we gave ourselves the same advice we give others? What if we listened? What if discipline wasn't an irritant, but a quest? What if we had a mission? What if we were as passionate about fixing ourselves as we were about fixing our politicians? What if our weaknesses could be our strengths? What if our selfies are just what happens when the image of God is captured from arm's length? What if you've never spoken to a mere mortal? What if a few cracks don't mean that we're broken? What if joy comes not from our circumstances, but from our focus? What if our outcome is not determined by our income? What if we worked as hard on our marriages as we do on our careers? What if faith could conquer fear? What if obedience actually makes us free? What if you were already equipped for the thing that you've been praying for the courage to do? What if the stories your grandchildren will tell about you were all true? What if we believed people can change, including ourselves? What if the mirror reflected possibility? What if we saw through the glass lightly? Might we sacrifice just a tiny bit of who we are for who we might be? What if it wasn't fame, but family that was the fortune? What if we're not saved by our good deeds, but saved for them? What if your presence was the holiest place someone stepped into this week? What if your shoulder was someone's saving grace? What if we approached conflict with curiosity instead of hostility? What if we welcomed being wrong because it meant we learned something? What if we opened up the kitchen and let God cook? What if we let Him burn something? What if we trusted His timing as much as we trusted our watch apps? Like, what if our step counters could track walking with Christ? Would we close the rings? What if we chose the things that took us to transcendence? What if we actually got everything we wanted? Would it finally quench our thirst? What if we affirmed the second greatest commandment without forgetting the first? What if we gave every woman the respect that we gave our daughters? What if we had as many dads as we have fathers? What if all houses were homes? What if we looked at our spouses the way we looked at our phones? What if instead of obsessing about differences, we coalesced around the similar? What if instead of classifying the collective, we found love in the particular? What if life is unbounded? What if life isn't about likes, achievements, or privilege, but about leaving it better than you found it? What if in the end, the trials are the blessings? What if the weight of glory is supposed to bring us to our knees? What if we believed?